In this episode of Conversations with Nicola, I sit down with Kai Davis. Kai Davis is up next, right here on Conversations with Nicola. Of course, Conversations is about sitting down with real people, getting their stories, feeling their vibe, their energy, and just sort of immersing yourself in who they are. And I'm very pleased today to be sitting with Kai Davis, a daughter of the soil, a daughter of Antigua and Barbuda, represented us at the Miss Universe pageant in 2003, but she's here with me in a different capacity.
Yes.
She is Kai Davis. She is who she is. Welcome to Conversations.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here. Actually, to have you here with me.
I like the fact that you've invited us into your space and your place, and there's a feeling of peace. I mean, I sit here, and I usually have this phrase, find your peace today, but you know, there's just something about being here. And a lot of our viewers will know Kai as the beauty queen, Miss Antigua Barbuda, representing Antigua Barbuda in 2003, doing very well. And you know, the glitz, the glam, all that encompasses that. But here you are, a woman of the soil, a woman of substance. You're grounded. Tell us about that transformation.
Well, that transformation was a very important part of my life. It's the most important step I've made thus far. It was something I think that was like a little seed planted in me from ever since, but it was just like a plant. Is when the conditions are favorable, then the seed will grow. And so my transition, which I recognize is kind of abrupt because 2003 was the Miss Universe and I started Trident Rastafari in 2004. And so it may seem very abrupt to the public, but it's something that I had been inspired by, something that I had been looking into for a number of years since I was a very young girl. And so it just felt right. The time was right. So it just happened naturally.
Well, I'm thinking, Kai, if this was embedded in you, I mean, so it was more or less a transformation to the elements of the glitz and glam in terms of Miss Universe.
Basically,
so how did that happen then?
Well, that kind of just, I don't know, that was like a shock in my life too. I had always, you know of pageants, but I was never really like a pageant-focused person. When I was a young girl, I was a very active dancer, and that actually followed me right throughout my life. And it was through the dance group that I first decided to enter pageantry, through encouragement by the persons in my group, saying, you know, to go in for the Hal Jackson Talented Teen competition.
I remember that.
And I mean, I was like, okay, it wasn't really my thing, but I said, let me try, you know, through the encouragement. And I actually remember uttering, when I went to the international pageant, having done the local leg, I told Mr. Lodet at the time, I said, I'm not a pageant person. I can't deal with this stress and all of this other stuff that goes on, you know. And so that's very laughable to see that I was saying since the beginning, I'm not a pageant person, and yet I went on to so many other steps. But that's basically how it got started. It's usually someone on the sides encouraging me. There was a little excited moment, I think, when I got into it during the Miss Antigua time, when I was very eager, actually, to go in for the Miss Universe, having seen Trinidad and Tobago do so well in 1998 as well.
That's
and
right.
So I was very inspired. And then after a little while, I kind of got a little tired because that year I won the Miss Caraval just before giving up my Miss Antigua and JC's titles. So I ended up going for almost 2 years in an ambassadorial capacity, and just being in that circle, that same glitz and glamour circle for 2 years in an ambassadorship position was really taxing. And I felt at the end of it that I was glad for it to be over. I had fun while it lasted, and so I wasn't really as eager for the Miss Universe as I was originally. But then I eventually made up my mind to do it, and once I put my mind to something, that's That's me. When I put my mind to something, I'm very wholehearted. I get right in it, you know? And so that transformation happened there. And then, but underneath, there was still that little, my roots was still, my roots were still Kai. So that interest never left. I just got distracted. And so when I finally had a chance to settle after coming back from Miss Universe, everything just started falling into place spiritually, you know.
So it was a chapter in Kai Davis's life, and chapter closed.
Yeah.
And just to add, I mean, you mentioned 1998 Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm sure many young women would have been inspired by the likes of Janelle Penica, Miss Young, Miss Universe, the first black Miss Universe, and of course Wendy Fitzwilliams. And so, you know, there's always that drive for young, beautiful black women in the Caribbean to say, yes, well, they did it, so we can do it too. Did you ever think that you would win Miss Antigua Barbuda? And did you think that you would have done so well at the Miss Universe pageant? In terms of the representation, you know?
Well, the Miss Antigua Carnival Queen, I was very energized at that time to do it. I really felt that I had a good shot.
Yes.
I had a good team working with me. I was very excited about it. I was like so wholeheartedly into it that I felt I really had a good shot. When I did the local international, the local Miss Antigua to go on to the international show, I at that point I had built my confidence still, so I did think I had a good shot at that time too, but I also knew that the other girls who were going in were very capable, you know, of representing just as well. And so, you know, I went into that confident, but still knowing that, you know, it could go anyway. So I was happy to become the person who was represented for Miss Universe, because I think there were 3 different shows we could have represented at for that time. So I was pretty happy to be, because Miss Universe was my thing, you know, and so I was glad for that. At Miss Universe, I actually had my mind geared more at maybe, as you say, achieving more on stage.
That's right.
You know, but I guess that wasn't in the cards for me. At the end of the day, I actually feel proud knowing that my accomplishment was made off stage and was based on my personality and my spirit, and not, you know, so much on the on stage, because on stage is a few minutes and off stage is like your life, you know, the real part of it. And so that ended up being something, an accomplishment more that meant more to me than had I, you know, maybe become a runner-up or something, you know. So I was really pleased about that.
So I'm going to ask the odd question. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Did you get a chance to see the now president of the United States at the Miss Universe pageant?
Yes, I did.
You know, I had to ask that.
I think the personality is still intact. I don't see a difference, really.
Well, let's just leave it at that.
Let's just leave it right there.
So, Kai, here we are in 2017, 2003 Miss Universe, 2004, you're getting back to who you are.
Yes.
Many will say, what happened to Kai?
Yeah, many did say.
She going mad?
I know, yeah.
She's smoking something. What happened? She depressed? You know, she gone mad.
She's had
Kai
a nervous
gone crazy.
breakdown.
Have you heard about Kai Davis?
Yes.
She living in any bush.
I know.
Or, you know.
Oh, yes.
How did you deal with that? And was it a transition like that? I mean, I don't think it was immediate. I'm just asking. No. 2004, it would have been gradual.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. What I can say is that I kept feeling like there was a step missing, like I'm supposed to be doing, so I just couldn't figure out where it was. So in seeking my direction, I decided, you know, I've been working at this place where I was working at the time for quite a while. I feel like I need to branch out and do something different. You know, feel a little stagnated. And so I said, you know, I'm going to take a leap. I'm going to take some long leave. I'm going to go to Trinidad. Yes. And I'm going to visit with my agency down there, see if I can work along with it and, you know, see if there's another avenue that I can explore. And I mean, literally like about a week or 2 before, no, I shouldn't say so soon. Let's say about a month before, I met one of the brothers for the church who reminded me that, you know, I was supposed to come and visit, which I was so glad, because there was no communication really except for the chance meeting on the road. And I said, you know, I'm going to get the directions I'm going to go, because I've been curious about coming to visit this community for so long. And so I actually came to visit now closer to the time, about 2 weeks to a week and a half or so before I went to Trinidad. And I mean, when I came here, the spirit was just so real. I mean, the questions I wanted were answered. And so this was like, I left, but I knew that there was something telling me I'm going to come back, you know, and I did come back. I made that connection. After coming back, I can't really say it was slow. It was like I came back December, and I mean, I came back with my mindset like, well, this is it. I saw everything I needed to see. I'm ready to make this transition. So when I came back in December of 2004, that's actually started my trad right there. I was not combing anymore. I'm not making up the face. I'm not wearing any more pants. I'm just, you know, I'm going wholeheartedly into this whole thing. And so people were first like, okay, not too shocked at first, because I'm a person who will wrap my head. I'm a person who, you know, but I think they notice certain things, you know, because we don't believe in the piercing in the ears. So I stopped wearing my earrings. I stopped, you know, putting on my makeup. And people will ask on an odd question, how are you wrapping your head all the time now, you know? And after I started expressing that, you know, I'm taking the leap, you know, I'm treading Rastafari. I mean, maybe you don't hear it in their words, but you see the faces like, what, you know? And when I decided to go all out, which was when I was pregnant with my son, and I decided, well, you know, I'm gonna just forget about even going back into the workplace, and so I'm gonna focus on my life and my faith. I actually did take a very long break from being out and about. So when all the whisperings were carrying on, I would get like secondhand whispers, not direct. And so I can honestly say I had a good transition. It didn't really affect me the way it maybe would have if I was constantly being out there and constantly getting that criticism in my face. I still would like to believe I would be strong enough to just, you know, blow past that. But realistically, maybe it would have affected me more. But I really had just taken a whole break from being out there and just centering. And as you say, getting very grounded. And this was the place to do it. I was very calm. I was happy. I knew things were being said, but I was just on another level. Just so happy to just own me, you know, again, and just be comfortable in my skin and just be myself and don't have to worry about if my hair is in place today, you know. Maybe you put on a little makeup, you know. Oh my gosh, somebody's coming by with a camera. Let me go in the bathroom and touch up, you know. So I was just glad to just be me. And so
I have to ask, because I'm listening to you, I'm hearing you, and I'm thinking, wow, walk a mile in your shoe. I don't know if I could do that, but I guess when, you know, when you're called, then you answer.
That's it.
And many of us are, and some of us are still trying to find your way. You know, find our way.
Yeah.
I just, you know, I'm not sure how you do it, but obviously this is who you are, Kai.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you would have second-guessed and questioned yourself.
And in my questioning right now, my question is like, turn back and do what? You know, like, go back. I can't even phrase it to make sense to me. Like, go back to what? I'm not going back, I'm moving forward, you know? So if I'm going forward, if somewhere down the line, something should happen to enlighten me on a higher meditation, then I guess I'll ascend to that. But for right now, this is the heights of where I think I can be. I see the vision of even being in this and taking it further. That's my aim right now. How can I elevate this?
So let's talk about the spirituality. Well, I guess you can, you know, give me the proper term. But in terms of that, the higher heights, what do you feel, if you care to share with us, what is a really good day for Kai? And in the community, what is that feeling? Is it a feeling of completion? What is it? I would just love for you to explain, because you know, a lot of us just want to feel that.
Yes. Well, you're in a good spiritual place. You're at peace in your mind, or as we would say, in your heavens. You're at peace because you're in a good flow with the people around you. You know, you're being true and honest about yourself and to yourself. You're in good communication with your Creator, with the earth. I mean, so being home on a regular day, if I can be in the ground, if I'm amongst my sisters and we can do something productive as a sisterhood, or we're working with the children. And to me, one of the best days is like when we have a holiday, as we would say, and maybe we're having a celebration. We usually do a Nyabingi session, which is like a church session. And so the whole day, from the time you wake up in the morning, there's just like a energy, a little buzzing energy. And you get busy, we clean up together, we cook together, and everybody just moving in sync, and we prepare and we put up our banners and we set up and we decorate, and then we go and we get ready and we sit down and we have bingi together. To me, that's like that's like the best day.
And I'm seeing Kai the dancer there as you just, you know, I'm seeing it.
Thank you. Dance is something as well that's deep rooted within me. Yeah, I don't
Let's
think
talk
I'll
about
ever
the
come out.
community though. Tell us a little bit about the community. For those who will say, oh, that community, all they do is just, you know, have children and smoke ganja and they don't bathe and they don't shave and they don't, you know, they're not educated. The children running around like, you know. Let's settle that right now.
Yeah, let's dispel all of those.
Let's settle that.
No, most of the people who are here, if they have not completed school, they've in the system, they've definitely completed school in the spirit. When they're now uneducated persons here. Everybody who's here is here not because they can't do better than here, but because this is where we want to be. There's a mission, and our mission is to have our children in an environment that is so different from what we grew up in. There are some persons here who are born and raised here, did a small period of time in the school system and then decided that it was really not for the best. It was not elevating. And so if it's not elevating and it's either stagnating or holding you down, it's best to get rid of it. So what we try to do, that's why we even have our home school. And so is to just create an environment that is free for the children, that they understand freedom. I grew very different. My children are in an environment now where they can frolic and run free and they go all over. I was raised in a yard where you have to be very careful. My mom was very protective of me and my sister. We couldn't really go out on the road and play and run around the neighborhood like, you know, some children are allowed to do. And so I'm glad that my children have the chance to experience something different. Where here it might seem like, you know, maybe because you don't know vision or we haven't manifested certain things for persons to see, that you mightn't see the plans that we have or the ideas that we're working towards manifesting.
But share.
Right, in due time, as it happens, you'll see. But we have school going on, so definitely not unambitious. We have our ground working. So I even resent persons saying, oh, all they do is farming. Farming is a very important thing.
Yes.
I mean, all of us have to eat to live. So food is of utmost importance. And no, we don't just sit down here and smoke ganja and like, you know, we're idling. We're productive people. Yes, cannabis is a very important part of our lifestyle, our liberty, because it is like, it's a sacrament. It's like going to church and there's no incense or there's no communion. It's a ceremonial, it's a sacramental element to far right. Plus, it is such a, you know, it's a mind-blowing herb that has so many benefits, so many avenues where it can be helpful to mankind that it's just unreal that it's even illegal in the first place, which is why we always encourage people, before you argue about it being legal, research how it became illegal in the first place.
Educate yourself.
And once you've done that, then you'll start to open your eyes and see that there may not be that stigma that you know, you've picked up on all these years. That might not be quite so, and I think that's the world is waking up to that right now, you know. So I dispel all of those things. People are going to say things because they don't know, and so I always welcome people coming to ask.
Ignorance.
Ask, and you know, you'll understand a lot better. So for the public, I don't have a problem. Anybody can come and ask me. Anybody ask me anything, I'm like, thank you for asking, rather than standing aside and just making a speculation, because that's what we do. I mean, naturally as human beings. So no, there's a lot that we have going on. We have a lot of creative and talented people here. We have cooks, we have dressmakers and designers, we have persons who have been putting together documents for even our different areas, our different offices within the church and so on, that you're just amazed. I know anytime any of us go out and we speak anywhere, people are always eager to come and find out, where did you study? I hear that all the time with our high priest. What university did you go to? And he said, well, you know, the highest university, which is the Spirit. He read his Bible, he read all these other spiritual books from Africa and Ethiopia, and he absorb all this knowledge. And once you're geared at something, once you're focused on something, you're gonna put your all into it. And so that's all you're seeing. You're seeing the fruits of devotion and the fruits of dedication, livication, as we will say. We like to change our words to sound more positive, so we won't say dead. dedication, we'll say livication, you know? So these are the things that help us to stay up and to stay positive. And that's the importance of the community, having support. Because when I'm on my own and I have a weak moment, it's just me. And so maybe I succumb to that little weak moment. But when I'm in a community and I look and I see my sisters over there holding the faith, I see my brothers over there holding the faith, I know I have support, that even if I need to go and even say something to somebody for them to give me that extra strength, you have it.
So we know it as cannabis, we know it as ganja, we know it as sensei,
marijuana,
we know it as marijuana, we know it as joy juice, so many names.
Yes.
What is it called in the community, and how do you embrace and how do you, you know, is it like, you know, you said communion, so that kind of struck with me. Tell me a little bit about how, if you
how it is used.
How is it used?
How do we use it? Okay.
Well, and even before that, you mentioned 14 years old, so maybe we can tie that in as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So let me first start with, we just say herb. It's herb. Just like we will say, it's the herb can mean your herb for the tea, which can be that, or it could be any other herb. It can be herb to put in the food, which it could be that, or it could be any other thing, any other herb. So we just say herb. We don't get too, or sometimes we might say sativa or indica, according to the type, because they're two different main strains, and one is more for energizing and working, and one is more for relaxing and meditation. So you'll find that we'll more use the relaxing state, which is, I believe, is the indica that you will use when it's the time to be very calm and peaceful. So when we are congregating, how we will use it in the tabernacle is that we have what we call a chalice. And so they'll load the chalice, and then whoever, so most times we'll carry it either to the elder or the high priest, and they start it off, and you light it, and then you pass it around, and all the brothers will sip of it, and it goes around, and when it stops, somebody will reload it, and okay? And for the sisters now, if we have a small chalice, sometimes we tend not to consume as much as the brothers, but if we do have a chalice, we'll do the same thing amongst the sisters, or if not, then we take it in a smaller dose, a smaller form, which people will say a spliff, and we sit together and we burn it together. It's not mandatory.
Yes. So, and you're not forcing anyone to do it?
No, it's up to you. If, according to how you feel, maybe I'm a little hungry and I don't feel like I want to consume it right now, I might relax. Or maybe, for some reason, maybe I'm more on the tired side and I don't want to get too relaxed. Maybe maybe I'm just not in the mood.
So it's
maybe,
not advice.
So it's not
advice.
like, you know, like, I have to get it, and you're hunting for it. You know, there are no addicts. There's nobody here saying no I need a spliff, and like there's nothing going on like that. If sometimes we tell ourselves we're not doing it, and or we don't have any need for that right now, let's take a little break. Sometimes I take a break. You know, and I say, oh, not really doing too much of. But most other times, we bake with it, we cook with it, we make oil with it, we use it in tea. I mean, we make medicine, we make immune boost. Yeah, it makes so much. It's a part of our lifestyle.
Let's talk about the decriminalization, because of course we know the challenges, the issues. It being an illegal substance across the world. We've seen so many changes globally in terms of decriminalization as well, and Antigua and Barbuda has reached that point. What is your stance on it? Your voice, how do you feel about it, especially for youth, those who meditation,
right?
And you know, being charged, imprisoned for some. What do you think needs to be done? And given the consultation that has taken place, where do you think we need to go?
Well, I think so far through the discussions that we've been having, that the powers that be are starting to come around to a particular overstanding, because I heard even the Prime Minister say that at some point he's moving in the direction for complete legalization in due time. I understand that it has to be steps. Maybe we might have less steps than they might, you know, but I think it needs to happen. As one of our very good members of the faith will say, the plant is not incarcerated, we are. So to us, when you think of it, you can't decriminalize a plant. Let's just get real for a while. The plant is not, decriminalize me. There's a group called Decriminalize Me, and that's the whole meditation. Decriminalize me and legalize the plant. Stop making me a criminal for using it, and stop putting the plant on restriction, because who can really restrict a plant that God made? It's not something, a substance that's made by man, it's something that naturally grows, and that's what is illegal. Even to have a seed is illegal. I think that whole meditation needs to be changed. We need education. People need to understand what it's all about, need to understand the benefits of it, and I think with that, and to understand the propaganda that was spread about it, so that they can know, well, you know, this is something, it's not a crazy meditation, it's a very sensible meditation, you know. And so I think that more education needs to take place about it. I think we need to move towards complete legalization, even if we do some form of structure, because there's a lot that can be made from it, and so it is a lucrative business, and just like any other, you know, just like agriculture and any other business or industry, there needs to be structure. But I really believe that the persons who have been fought down throughout the years for this, I think those are the persons who really should be, the persons to benefit at the end of the day. I think persons who have already been, you know, brought down, who have been locked up and so on, they need to be released for ganja charges. I think that even for the youth, you just need to know how. As I say, education. You need to know how it is to be used. A lot of that has been kept in the dark because it's been made illegal. And so sometimes maybe people don't use it properly, or maybe they don't understand how it agrees with them, or maybe they're not using the right one. Maybe you're schizophrenic and you shouldn't consume the sativa. Maybe that might energize your meditation too much. Maybe you more need an indica to keep the nerves and everything at peace. So education will help that. And I think, you know, it's going in the right direction. We just need to be steadfast and commit to what we say we're going to do and work with it. As I keep hearing over and over, we don't need to come up with anything new. It's happening around. Let us look and see what works and figure out something that works, which one works for us best. We're a small island. Our soil is good. We grow good crops. We need to get it done here. You're decriminalizing a small amount. As he said, the Prime Minister, where are they going to get it from? There are some people who are prescribed 30 grams a day for their medical conditions, and they're allowed to grow as many plants as they need in order to meet that demand. Yes. So we need to have a conversation. How many users do we have? And if we're going to have everybody having access to their 10 grams daily or whatever, then we need to know how many plants, how long does it take for the plant to come, so that you can have it on rotation, so everybody can have it. And that's a real structure that needs to be worked out, and don't just say, oh, well, you can have 5 plants. And do you even know how much 5 plants is going to produce? And how long will that last before the next 5 plants will come and be ready? So we really have to be forward thinking, you know, and some real analysis needs to be done. I mean, there are groups here currently who I know could be very effective in these discussions. So it's just for us to communicate.
And I'm pretty sure, Kai, I'll probably see you.
Probably
I will see you.
You'll see me.
In further discussions, meetings, further consultations.
Absolutely.
I want to take it off the decriminalization as I wrap up with you. In terms of your family, usually that's the question I would ask first. But your parents, siblings, what has the response been like to your... And I'm not going to use the word transformation anymore, because you are Kai.
Yes.
You are who you are.
Yes.
How have they, that's right, your liberty, how have they dealt with dealing with Kai? Kai is Kai.
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, it's different, but it's actually evolved over time. In the beginning, I think there was a little friction because maybe you didn't quite agree with some of the decisions I made, but nobody has ever really given me a fight. I applaud my family. I'm so blessed for being communicators, and they ask me straight up. They'll ask me, well, why this? Or why do you choose to do that? Or why don't you do this? And once I've given my explanation and they see that it's something of merit, even if they disagree, they say, okay, well, at least I understand. Yes. You know, I might not agree, but at least I understand. But the relationship never died. It never got shaky. I think just as anybody making a change, it takes a little getting used to. But I have a very good relationship with my family. I actually have a better relationship with my family
because
than
you're
even
real.
before.
Yeah, you're real. There's no barrier.
Yes.
You are who you are.
Yes, and I think people feel settled seeing that you've spent some time in this space and they've seen something productive and something positive, and they haven't seen me melting and scrabbling and becoming, you know, going in a direction that they don't like or they think is unhealthy, you know. So that helps as well.
Your
Absolutely.
highest moment?
Oh, my highest moments. Wow, there are many.
Okay.
But let me narrow it down to what can I say? I can say right now I'm in a high moment. Let me just talk about this high moment. This high moment I'm in right now is recognizing that even though this year makes 20 years since I can say I really came into the public's view at the Carnival Queen competition, I still see a lot of young women who I don't even think should even have my name as a household name, have it, looking at me with pride and not disdain. I think that's like one of my proudest achievements, to know that as much as people may have thought this was a negative thing, a lot of young people who are more forward thinking, who are of this generation and, you know, who are seeking more than just to follow, have actually looked in this direction and seen something positive in their eyes. I think that's a real high moment for me right now. And, you know, I'm just happy that I've kept myself at a level of respect that to earn that. So that's mind-blowing for me.
And Kai, I'm just going to leave it on a high. No pun intended. I'm just going to leave it on this high moment and say thank you so much for allowing us into your space.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to seeing and hearing much more from you.
Oh, great. I look forward to being here.
Right. Thank you, Kai.
Absolutely. Respect, blessed love.
Nicola's wardrobe provided by Exotic Antigua, Redcliffe Key Waterfront. Telephone 562-1288.
I have so much to do next week. I wonder where I'll get the outfits for everything. Oh my God, Exotic Antigua. That's perfect. I'll get just what I need for the job interview, that fete, and the beach picnic.
Exotic Antigua specializes in cool, colorful clothing and accessories for women. Just perfect for every occasion. Outfits for work, church, graduations, parties, and fetes, or that trip to the beach. We offer reasonable pricing for all sizes and colors and the best customer service. Of course, check out the most amazing selection of linen pants, shorts, and shirts for men. There is so much more at Exotic Antigua. Visit us anytime, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the historic Redcliffe Key, St. John's, Antigua. Exotic Antigua.